Welcome back. This is our third segment of Motus Tips with A&A. I'm Arkady Friedman, the founder of Motus Media, and I'm super excited to have Duke Fanelli, the CMO of the A&A.
Thanks for having me here today.
Absolutely. So this third segment, we'll talk about corporate responsibility. I think it's always important, in terms of ad tech and media. We're trying to attract people and influence people, but it's also about giving back. And I know the A&A does a lot of great things to give back. We'll talk about how women, the focus on women, and how that's changing, and how you guys are really kind of elevating the ability for women to get into this industry a lot easier. I think by 2020. And we'll talk about, I guess a rolling topic that is in the media is fake news, and the responsibility of the marketing, people, tech, publishers, to distribute, good information. So we'll start with the first one. Let's talk about corporate responsibility and giving back. Motus Media believes in that too. I made an announcement last year that I want to give back 1% to a local cause. Right now it's New York Cares, and I'd love to hear about the A&A. I know you have a lot of different initiatives in terms of, giving back.
Sure. So A&A has been involved in the community, if you will, the industry for a number of years. We through our CEO, the A&A sits on the Ad Council, which we actually helped form back in the, I want to say the 40s when it was first created. Bob Leady's the CEO, also sits on the board of the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids, which is clearly, especially with all you hear in the news today, an increasingly important organization to be part of. We also have the A&A Educational Foundation, which tries to elevate the role of advertising and marketing within the college community, within the undergraduate community. What we're finding, unfortunately, is that college students are opting to begin careers in industries at companies that have less to do with marketing and advertising and more to do with technology. It sounds sexier, it may be sexier, it may be higher paying, but there are tremendous opportunities in the marketing and advertising industry to be creative in so many different ways, to apply a statistical background to the success of a campaign. I mean, there's just so many jobs there that I don't think students, kids understand the full capacity of what's available there.
Absolutely. I do see some of the universities, I hear people taking courses that were never available to me when I was in college, about programmatic, about dissecting your metrics, and that's all kind of floating into universities and colleges today. Which is great. I think it's influencing people to get into these roles. So I know we're talking about a number of different topics. One topic that I think is really important and it's very relevant today is the focus of women in the industry, women in general. And I have a young daughter who I want to know that she can be whoever she wants, however she wants, whatever career, whatever industry. And I know that the A&A has an initiative for women. Can you talk about that?
Sure, absolutely. And I have a 2-year-old granddaughter, and I want her to feel the same exact way as she grows up. So we have a hashtag See Her initiative, which was started by the Alliance for Family Entertainment, which is part of the A&A, and that started several years ago. The goal of the initiative really is to drive gender equality. There's clearly for years that's been something that hasn't been a focus. 2020, which is when the goal is to have gender equality, is also the 100th anniversary of women getting the right to vote. So there's a direct tie
Hopefully we'll have it before 2020.
Hopefully before 2020, but I think if people can at least aim for 2020, if it happens 2 years from now, I think we'll certainly consider that a success. It's an incredibly important initiative. See Her has gained tremendous awareness over the last year. They've just handed out their second Critics' Choice award to Gal Gadot, and The year before that, the first recipient was Viola Davis. It's the traction behind See Here is really pretty phenomenal. And as it gains traction, I think we'll see more and more effort around, certainly in the advertising industry. You can't speak for the rest of the world, but certainly in the advertising industry, that gender equality will continue to rise to the top.
That's really great. And I'll put links in the bottom of this video where people can learn more about this initiative and even those people that you mentioned. Then the last topic I think is important in terms of the media industry in general, marketing, content. There's a lot of talk about fake news or news that's incorrect to drive some other initiative. From a standpoint of an advertising company and a platform, it's just important to have the responsibility to drive good advertising, and relevant, and be just responsible for it. What do you see? How do you see that as a topic, and how have you seen that change throughout your vendors and your members? So
the whole issue of brand safety has become increasingly important for our members. Their placement on a website is something that we hear about and we talk about each and every day, and it doesn't take a lot to put some safeguards in place. And we look to the Motus Medias of the world and other vendors to help ensure that the decisions are the right decisions. So it really is a partnership between the agency world and the marketer world to help ensure that brand safety is not something that's just pushed to the side. It drives consumer behavior, it drives attitudes, it drives purchasing intent. So if we are risking ads on sites that are considered fake or somehow unsafe, we're putting business, billions of dollars at risk over the long haul.
Absolutely. And thank you for covering that. To the viewers, if you haven't seen the other two sections, please look at those. We looked at different topics, kind of a global view. And thank you again for joining me.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.